let's we'll take a look at the minimap and see kind of what we could do with that. Okay, so again, yep. So this we'll have to do this every frame or anytime it changes, I guess. Let's see, we on start we generate an image. In fact, we generate the full map. Let's see. Yeah, it generates the full map. And then it will reveal it when you find the map pickup. And then we've got, okay, so I think what we'll need to do, I think we'll probably need an image. We'll have to turn, let's see, we'll have to turn these guys. I think this is, so this is a full one, and this is like the working map. Like if you don't know the full map, it will, if you do, I think it will copy this one to this one, and then plot your path on it, if I recall correctly. And if you don't, it will just keep plotting your path. Something like that. It's been a little while since I've looked at this, but I think we'll need an array for both of these, because we're going to have to plot the path on each floor independently, and then have a full map version of each floor as well. So turn these into arrays. On start, basically do this for each one of them. And then on update, on update, mark progress of the current floor, and then reveal guess that would have to become an array as well. An array or dictionary. Dictionary would be a bit easier to use in this case because you could have a, well, you could have the procgen as the key, but that's a bit inefficient. But maybe maybe give the floors an ID or whatever, and then just have the ID as the key. But although that ends up being a lot like just using an array and just using like a number as the index. So probably go with the array. And let's see, I gotta think about the beacons, because the beacons, this will be an interesting one. The beacon, so when you throw a beacon, like in radar mode, it will detect stuff nearby and then basically flash a certain color depending on if it's found anything nearby. And those, conceivably, you could throw between floors. So I could be on the second floor and I could throw one down to the first floor. So these will need to, so they'll need to be global. So you'd have a list of all beacons, which I do. And then again, check to see if the current floor we're on contains that beacon. And then if so, do all the overlay stuff for that beacon on this current map. Yeah. Yeah, something like that. All right, before I start doing more, let's just commit. I think we had, so we had what? Modular. All right, I guess these are going together. Usually I like to do more atomic commits, but kind of ended up with two sets of changes that overlap. So fix for and initial support for multi-floor culling. yeah, I like to have everything committed before I do, potentially invasive changes. I could create a branch for this, but I tend to not do that on my solo projects, especially with these really big, heavy projects, and especially with the Subversion as well. It can be a bit heavier for branching compared to Git. So, where it's pretty contained within a file, I don't see that much value in a branch anyway in this case. So I think let's start with that and see how much that breaks. So we will need a way to get all of the proc gens in a consistent order, which I don't think if we do get game object.find objects of type, objects of type. I don't know if there's a guarantee in terms of the order of that, so probably from we actually have an order here that we can use because I'm assigning them as a reference to the multi-floor generation here. So this is a consistent order that we can rely on. So, and that is public. So I think this is going to be the point where I start to rip out the single floor stuff because it's going to get a bit weird at this point. Right now that I've got like an array here, for example. I could say, oh, well, if you don't have the multi-manager, then just put one in the array and all that stuff. But I'm probably just going to start assuming the scene has the multi-manager so that from like here, oops. In fact, maybe I, from global, I like to do stuff from global. So I can go global.instance.whatever the thing is and just have a nice consistent way to do that without having to say, oh, find this in like all of these different components. If it's something I need, then, there it is. And maybe we do something like that. Trying to get in the habit of using these more rather than just having these public properties. And so in this case, on awake, oh, in fact, we already have it. So let's try this. Yeah, the reason I don't like these, and I may actually just keep this one, the kind of cheesy way, is because I don't like to have that public. Although, you know what? No, I take that back. So you go away, and then because we could do a private set. Yeah, that's better. Because I was going to say, I don't like to do that because I don't want to have a public setter, but I just don't need to. Simple as that. So procgen, where's that? I'm going to switch these to that and that. And okay. Yep. Lots of those. All right, and there's Ricardo. He was cleaning. So I've got these really bad excuses for missing the stream. I was seeing my friends. I was cleaning. God, that guy. But I do appreciate him joining as always. Yeah, exactly. He didn't miss too much. I'm just working on the multi-floor procedural generation stuff and doing some optimization, and now I'm working on the minimap to get that supporting multiple floors. So, and I was speculating how I end up with so many people in the chat who aren't watching. It's weird anomaly of Twitch, or yeah. Anyway, all right. So I was just in the process of. So I've done some work to differentiate basically which floor the player is currently on, and so I use that to improve the culling. So I wasn't rendering things that were on different floors, and so now I'm going to take advantage of that for the minimap as well, and basically say if the player is on whatever floor the player is currently on, that's the map we're going to render. But because the way it's all set up, I basically have to manage each floor. And thanks for the host as always, Ricardo. And yeah, so I was saying earlier as well on the stream, now that Super Rocket Ride is officially in early access and I've put the word out and I've emailed my press list and all that stuff, I'm going to work on marketing that a little bit more passively for a little bit and get some players. And then while I'm doing that, do a kind of more intense push on TOXICANT and maybe get that into early access and then kind of flip and then do some marketing on TOXICANT while we do some new content for Super Rocket Ride. So we'll see how that plays out. Maybe a bit ambitious to be kind of juggling two things like that, but I don't want to sit on this one for much longer. It's been 3 years, and that's a bit too long for me. Okay, so we should now have on our global singleton a ProcGen multi-man, which has a list of individual floor generators. And so with that, what are you complaining about? Oh. That, why are you complaining? I think it's just a bit confused here. That totally exists. I can see it right there. For each ProcGen gen in that. There you go. ProcGen modular, rather. And so now basically, and this is going to be a bit heavy on start because it's generating a bunch of dynamic images, but that's okay. So I'm going to take all, well, at the very least, all this stuff and do it for each floor. So I'll have a floor index. And so each one's just going to be like that. All right. And so generate minimap is now going to need to account for, in fact, we should probably just comment this out and see what breaks a lot. So let's think about this. I probably want to update all these methods to accept an argument rather than using this, because I don't. This would be kind of kludgy if I said like from within, like for each, for example. Not that one. Not that one. This one. So if I assign that, in each iteration, that would be a bit weird. Versus passing it in right here, that would make a lot more sense. So pass it in there for starters. That should take care right away of a bunch of errors. Yep. Okay, so now we got these references here, which, let's see. probably need to give ProcGen modular an identifier so we can easily figure out which array index to use. In fact, if I just make that, let's see, I can make it a string. I was contemplating earlier if I use a dictionary that has like some kind of a string identifier mapped to the various images, or just use an int. So I could have a public ID, int ID, and just assign it a number based on its order in the multi-floor manager. I think that would work. Yeah, it's probably the easiest thing to do. Don't need to over bake this. So let's go straight up public int ID. Simple as that. Index. I think for this it seems more like an index to me. And so now from the multi-manager, when we do the first iteration, just put procgen dot index equals. Yeah, that should work. Oops, is it plus? 2 pluses. Cool. So now anywhere we use the arrays, we can just go index, and that reads nice and clean. And same thing here. And we're still in the, yep, still in the same methods. Same thing here and here. Could do a search and replace. I'm just going to use by hand just to make sure it's not that many. Because I may also, these lines are getting pretty long. A little bit longer than I like. So I might just find a nicer spot to wrap those. Right around there, maybe. Yeah, any more than like 120. I'd like to be able to get to like a reasonable size font like that. Okay, so that's that. Okay, a couple errors up here because, yeah, okay, on start, because I commented out that procgen property. So, and this just initializes what the map size, which as of now, they'll all be the same. I've thought about having different floor sizes. That could be interesting, but I think for now, I could just take the first one. Like we could just global.instance.procgen.procgen. I don't love doing that, but it's like, whatever. If you don't have one of these, you don't have a game, so I think it's pretty safe to write that, a statement like that. You could do a save, and in fact, there is kind of a, well, safety check here, sort of. Although this would fail if there was no, I'm not too worried about it. So we take that one, and that is the one we'll use for this check. Okay, now we've got the stuff in update we need to consider, which this could be done. Okay, this will need, take one of these two. So when we reveal the exit, and then same when we reveal the map. That one will take a bit more thought. I think I'll have to turn revealed into like an array as well and manage that state. But let's focus more on update for now. So update, And I think for this we could have a procgen modular procgen equals. So now we have a global current procgen. So that's the basically the floor, or the procedural generation component of the floor the player is currently on. So, oh yeah, and you missed it earlier when I first started. So usually my cat steals my chair. He briefly tried to steal my chair today. I didn't let him, but then he was walking on the piano when it was on, so that was kind of funny. And he also walked across the keyboard and also deleted, or almost deleted, one of the scenes in OBS. So that was fun. I might have to clip that as a highlight. So now, basically every frame helper. He's like obsessed with me. It's a little bit unhealthy, actually. I mean, it's cute, but it's, yeah. Like if I'm in this chair, first of all, he insists on sitting in this chair. I've put another chair here, but he refuses to even go on it for some reason. It's like just a solid wood chair. I don't know why. He'll lie on the floor, and he'll get up on my desk, and he'll lie on the piano of all things, or the keyboard of all things, which is no way is that comfortable. But he won't go on a wooden chair. Super strange. Cats. So for every frame for the current floor, procgen dot index. So we'll plot the path. And so we do that on both. We have the non-revealed and the revealed versions. And then, so this won't be too bad. I think this will become just an array of booleans. But I'm not even going to worry about that for now. I just want to get this first pass working. So no errors. That's our first check. Yep. Yeah, it's coming together. I'm feeling pretty good. So we got one. Oh yeah, okay, so reveal exit. So, and then it'll be the same thing with reveal map. We might as well put that parameter just while we're in here. And this will just be current. In fact, I mean, that doesn't even necessarily need to be passed in. It could just be used from within. But it doesn't matter. Okay, let's see if that fixed it. So yeah, I'm looking for, I have two days back at work. So the weekend, then 2 days, Monday, Tuesday at work. And I assume we'll be probably heading home a little bit early on Christmas Eve. And then it's 8 days off. So that'll be nice. So a couple little bucks here. Obviously like floating support beams, and the calling doesn't account for multiple floors, but... Or it does, but it doesn't account for the vertically adjacent rooms, rather. So let's check the map. Okay, so no map. And that was interesting. We got what were we on? We must have been on this thing. Yeah, we're kind of in between floors now, so it's a little bit confused. So why no map? Errors. Yes. Okay. Because we didn't initialize either of those arrays, I assume. Okay. I'd almost rather use a list. Arrays feel kind of retro to me now. So maybe we'll do a list. but let's look first, because let's see, we would just need to go text2d equals new that, and then proc this dot count. So that's not too bad. Put it there. Yep. So yeah, I hope to make some solid. We're not going anywhere. We might go away for a day and a couple little family things, but otherwise we're just kind of taking it easy here. So I do hope to make some solid progress. Hopefully on Toxicant, maybe a little bit on Super Rocket Ride, but I feel like if I get a solid week on this, I should be able to get it to a pretty good point for early access, or like a early access on itch, and do that for maybe a couple weeks or a couple months or whatever. Okay, that should be a bit better. But yeah, we were talking about, let's see, we were talking about Scotch. So our default kind of cheapo stuff is Grants, which is a blended, but I got us a little early stocking stuffer here. Let's see. I think I've got a nice picture of it. Here it is. That's, I assume with the lights on our tree. Super smooth. I didn't think I was a Scotch guy initially, but I didn't really know what I was looking for in Scotch. That's why, because there's some that's really smoky. Like they actually smoke it, which I'm not a big fan of smoked drinks, but the non-smoked stuff, it's super nice. Yes, it is. Yeah, I don't know too much about it, but all I know is that the high-end stuff is the kind of stuff I'd probably more have when I'm out, because I can't really justify like some of those bottles. First of all, you can only buy like a 750, which is a lot more than I like to keep around, and you know some of those bottles are like 120 bucks or whatever. So I know there's some places that will do like flights, so you get like four 1 ounce or whatever, or 3 1 ounce. Are they 1 ounce, or maybe they do half ounce? 4 half ounce, yeah, that makes sense. 4 ounces is a bit much, especially if I'm out. Okay, did I break something? Yes. Okay, and that is because what? Generate minimap. Called with null destination texture. Texture DST. Okay, did we forget? Oh, I wonder if it's an order of operations thing here. Let's see. So it'll come in here. It will loop over each one. should all have an index. Let's look at okay. So all right. So the minimap I think is executing before this guy for starters. So it would be returning as an index of 0 for all, I assume, because of that. So we probably want to put a little. I could either change the script execution order, or what I'd probably do for something like this is just make the start method an enumerator. So we can do something like, well, it should get us a bit closer up. I don't know the exact timing of is loading. So it's loading, yeah, until the very, very end of the start method of the multi-floor manager. So something like that should work. So don't even bother with anything until well, it should help. I don't know if that was the issue, but it would have been an issue. So and again, no one has asked me about my shirt. I'm a bit sad about that. We only have 3 minutes left in the stream. Oh yeah, beard noise. Sorry. In case you've never heard a beard. That's what it sounds like. Okay. Well, we started up. And got a map. Now it's not plotting. And I just realized one thing I didn't do is account for the offset of the current floor, which shouldn't matter for the first floor. There shouldn't be an offset, but that might be partially what's going on. Let's see if we switch floors, what happens. So I think the overlay calculation is not working for one thing. Map plotting. Okay, well we got some work left. Yeah, we got some null refs going on here, so. Not sure why there'd be null refs. On that though. Because we should have a player. We should have a proc gen. Yeah, interesting. Wonder if the indices are getting misassigned or something. Yeah, I just noticed for one thing. This would be quite important. It's only initializing the first one over and over, so that's a big problem. Yeah, I'd love to get this at least kind of working before the end of the stream. It's always a bit frustrating. It's like, oh, it's almost there. All right, well, no one's going to ask about the shirt, so we'll do the reveal. It's not the first time, unfortunately, but it is probably the right day, because we got this is going to be the last stream before Christmas, I think. So here we go. So you may have seen this one before, but here we go. So it's Snoopy and the snowman looking pretty cool with what's his face there, Woodstock. And of course the Grinch behind me. Gotta have the holiday stuff. Alright, let's see. Nah. That's interesting. Texture is degenerate. That's harsh. Okay, so we've got a couple issues still, but I think it's getting there. Probably just a couple silly logic things. So I think I'll call it a day there, at least as far as the stream goes. Probably pick this back up a little bit later today. And yeah, probably the last stream before the holidays, so, or at least before Christmas. So certainly have a Merry Christmas to you and your family. And I'll be back well, during the week. Maybe not before Christmas, because yeah, like that's my first day off, and we've got some stuff going on. But after that, basically nothing really going on. So you know, we'll be back certainly for the 28th, and then maybe the Thursday or Friday before that, possibly during the day rather than the evening, maybe earlier in the day. But we'll see. No real schedule during the week, but I'll be working on the stuff. So you know, I'll stream when the time feels right, and hopefully see if I can't get this thing kind of into a good early access state. So as always, thanks for tuning in, and till probably Thursday, I guess. So yeah, happy holidays to you and your family, and until next time.